If in your mind and what you're saying to yourself, whether subconsciously or consciously, is that you will never be able to find financial success that you're seeking, you will never find personal freedom, you don't have what it takes to be a business owner, you don't have what it takes to acquire clients, you don't have the confidence to speak to attorneys and tell them to hire you, you don't have this, you don't have that. If you repeat that to yourself every single day, that's absolutely who you will become. Begin on the path and the path will appear. I can't tell you how many times I have felt friction or pushback or a roadblock on my growth, on my business journey to a $500,000 business in 3 years. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Paralegal Freelance Lounge. Jacqueline Foster here. I'm going to switch it up this week and talk a little bit more through mindset. The title of this episode is My 7 Laws of Entrepreneurship. So that might sound like I'm about to talk about financials and KPIs and business development and growth and client services and all those things that come with building a business as an entrepreneur. But I want to get into the mind today and really talk through my 7 laws that are truly going to either make or break you if you follow them. So let's dive into it. Number 1 is no one will believe in our ability to do great things until we first believe in our greatness and then put in sincere and rigorous effort to realize it. I constantly see paralegals posting to my group, to other groups, asking for some sort of insight as to if they personally, the person posting, will or will not make it in the freelance space. They might feel a little bit defeated, whether they've started down this journey of entrepreneurship as a paralegal or they haven't begun and they're considering, they're still feeling that feeling of defeat and not being able to do it. So they're looking for sources outside of them to either confirm or deny that defeating feeling. But I just had an amazing conversation with a paralegal that took my roadmap course back in 2021 when I first launched it. And one thing that got brought up is that she found a lot of success after taking my course and running with her freelance paralegal business. And she was crediting my course and saying how wonderful it was and all of these things, which I greatly appreciate. But I had to pause her for a moment and remind her that there are countless paralegals that are taking my course. Our enrollment rates are higher than ever this year, but there are some that will take the course or maybe halfway take the course or take one section of the course and they won't find those same successes. They're consuming the exact same information that my paralegal Terry, as well as countless other paralegals based on my testimonial and social proof of my course members' successes out there. They will take that exact same course and not all of them will find that success. And the reason is because it either one is the fact that they're not putting forth the effort, the commitment, the actual getting through that roadmap and committing to that roadmap, or 2, they have absolutely deflated self-belief systems that they're almost manifesting it not to work. Point being said, if you go out into the world and look for, whether that's in Facebook groups, from me, from your family, your spouse, your friends, whoever out there to validate you and tell you, yes, you can do this, or no, you can't do this, that's all great and dandy, but if you do not believe in it yourself, it will not happen. Number 2, limitation is nothing more than a mentality that too many good people practice daily until they believe it is reality. So as a paralegal, you might be heading into this freelance space looking at all these potential or perceived limitations around you that will block you from being successful. Those limitations might include your geographical area, your cash resources, the fact that you cannot quit your full-time job just to jump with a leap of blind faith into this business overnight. Now, while these limitations might actually be existent, the reality is that they are able to be overcome. When I started my freelance paralegal business, I had $200 in my checking account. I had a 1-year-old baby on my lap. I lived in the middle of nowhere. The nearest skyscraper was more than 3 hours away. I had awful Wi-Fi. I had zero networks, zero social media presence, zero business acumen whatsoever. I didn't have daycare help, anybody to help me in the means of my family, to help me with my child while I tried to get this business off the ground. And we were struggling so very bad financially. And yes, these look like limitations. And for 2 years, these perceived limitations completely held me back from moving forward. But to this quote's point, these limitations were just merely my mentality that was blocking me and creating them as my reality that couldn't be overcome. Instead of looking at them as obstacles that can be overcome and accomplished and pushed through on my journey to building a successful freelance paralegal business. And as soon as I just pushed past those perceived limitations, switched over my mindset to realize that that's all they are, is a mindset, I was able to find really great success. The third rule is the moment when you feel like giving up is the instant when you must find it in you to push ahead. I can't tell you how many times I have felt friction or pushback or a roadblock on my growth, on my business journey to a $500,000 business in 3 years. I found roadblocks in the form of difficult clients, difficult paralegals that I brought into my business, cash flow issues here and there, concerns about making that next payroll, if you will, moments of just being truly exhausted from managing my motherhood as well as my business and trying to keep it afloat. But I am a true believer that sometimes things get really, really hard before they break and release and create something new from it. And so obviously there are times when you need to learn to pivot when things aren't working the way that they should be or that they could be. But a lot of the times it's not so much about pivoting as much as it is persisting. So really get keen as an entrepreneur on knowing the difference of that pressure. Is it just about persistence or is it about pivoting? And I can guarantee you probably 90% of the time it's persistence. Number 4, mindsets, health sets, heart sets, and soul sets are all equally important in your entrepreneurship journey. We talk nonstop about mindset. This whole episode seems to be based on mindset. But sometimes we forget to take a moment to step back. As entrepreneurs, we also need to be focusing on our health set, our soul set, and our heart set. So what do I mean by that? We know what mindset is. What is a health set? I am the queen, the absolute queen of waking up in the morning, drinking a pot of coffee before noon, having absolutely zero to eat, and then eating a cheese stick at 1, getting back down to work just so I don't pass out. I am very good at avoiding taking care of myself on a health level. Now, some people will take these to the extreme and put you on a whole foods diet and like all these things. I can't keep up with all of that as it relates to some, crazy wellness routines, but something as simple as knowing myself personally and what works. I make sure I am drinking at least one of my 28, 32 ounces of water before noon. Sometime between the morning and the afternoon, I get a really high protein breakfast / lunch in. And honestly, also knowing when you need to take a rest. My heart set is something I do have the luxury of being able to take care of as a self-employed paralegal entrepreneur because I get to set my own schedule. With that, I'm allowed to show up for the things that make my heart full, which is usually my family, my little kids, making sure I'm making it to every t-ball game, making it to school events, having hot sunny afternoons to take them to the beach. And soul sets, this is all about you. I differentiate it. Somebody else might say soul sets, heart sets, it's all the same thing. But what makes my soul happy are things like my horses, which to this day, I don't spend enough time with them like Jacqueline, 18-year-old Jacqueline, 20-year-old Jacqueline would have. And also truly what makes my soul dance and happy is just sitting on my swing, looking out into the woods, with an evening glass of wine or a mocktail, reading, writing, those things that make Jacqueline happy. Number 5 to the rules of entrepreneurship is my main focus in business is to serve. Money is just an inevitable byproduct of that focus. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. That was Martin Luther King Jr. This is so very important to hone in on as an entrepreneur when you start to feel like comparing yourself to this person, that person. I don't have what they have. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the acumen. I don't have the experience. I don't have, this or that or anything as you go to compare yourself to the world of entrepreneurs and successful businesses out there. But keep in mind, the business we are in is a service-based business. The more you focus on how you can be of service to your industry and who you are here to work with, to help, the more you will just naturally see your business grow, and you'll blink and you'll start seeing referrals coming through. But the more you can just focus on waking up every day and asking yourself that question, how can I be of the best service to my industry today? I promise you, you will be guided in the right direction to make money start to flow to you a lot quicker in your business. Number 6, if you want what only 5% of the world has, you have to be willing to do what the other 95% are not willing to do. Going back to my first rule around believing in yourself and taking action every day to affirm that belief system, this also pairs in with that. Like I stated, 100 people will not take the action necessary to take that course and bring something to life to achieve the results that the course is there to help you achieve. So yeah, sometimes that does look like showing up more on social media, putting yourself out there, even trying to get on video and start working your way through making content that's helpful to your ideal client. It might be while you're still transitioning from employee to freelance paralegal that you dedicate an hour a day when you get home to work on your business, to start developing your brand, to start working on your marketing, your content, your strategy, your business model, all those things that come into building up a profitable business. You have to be willing to push yourself past your comfort zone. Now, obviously, you can take this in stride. I didn't go from starting my business to hopping on YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn and all these places overnight. It took me time to grow that confidence. But the faster you can just push through and say, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do this. I give myself at least a year of consistency to see if this will work. You will absolutely find the success you're seeking in your freelance paralegal journey, breaking into it especially, and you will be amongst those 5% of people that truly, truly find success. I can't just give you the course and you read it or you go through the modules and you put absolutely no action behind it or no strategy that I'm coaching you to build behind it and expect results. All right, number 7. Human beings are hardwired to act in alignment with our self-identity always. You'll never rise higher than your personal self-proclaimed story. This sort of ties into the other quote about limitations. And thinking back on that quote, if you changed your mindset, instead of that being a limitation, it's absolutely a roadblock that I can jump over and learn something in the process that's going to make me better for that next roadblock I need to get over. Same thing goes with the self-identity principle. If in your mind and what you're saying to yourself, whether subconsciously or consciously, is that you will never be able to find financial success that you're seeking, you will never find personal freedom, you don't have what it takes to be a business owner, you don't have what it takes to acquire clients, you don't have the confidence to speak to attorneys and tell them to hire you, you don't have this, you don't have that. If you repeat that to yourself every single day, that's absolutely who you will become, because we are hardwired to act in alignment with that belief system. On the flip side, if you wake up every day and do intentional work to change your mindset, meditate, journal, work through this on your own to just rewire that belief system to say, I might not know it all now, but the journey is going to teach me. Like the Rumi quote, begin on the path and the path will appear. I will gain confidence as I continue to put myself in uncomfortable situations. I will gain resilience the more I push past barriers. And your business will end up truly growing your confidence for you. It will show you a side of you that you never thought was there until you truly committed to the journey. So you definitely have to rewire your self-identity so you can rewrite your story, so you can actually start taking steps towards that self-identity that's going to make it more of a reality. We get in our own way the absolute worst. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a little bit off the cuff and what I normally put out there as it relates to business and strategy and all those things, but I promise you, I was inspired to hop on. You'll actually notice when my episode with Terry comes out that I'm wearing the exact same shirt, because in the beginning when we talked about this, it was such a good reminder for myself that it's so much mindset work, self-belief systems, and taking care of those things so that you can actually apply strategy and dive into your business goals. And work and commit to the journey and stay committed to the path and start walking on that path. If I didn't talk about these things, I'd truly be doing a disservice to all of my listeners, because if I didn't work on my mindset for the 2 months leading up to me starting my own business, I would not be here today teaching other paralegals how to build successful businesses. I had to rewire that self-identity. I had to rewire my belief systems around limitations. I had to start committing to what was going on in my brain, both consciously and subconsciously, so that I could break through and just begin. And I promise you, there's so many more entrepreneurs out there just waiting for that same thing to happen to them so they can burst into their greatness. And the paralegal space is no exception to that. It is 100% the rule. Take this episode wholeheartedly and dedicate some time to just working through these rules. Journal, meditate. Always reach out to me for any encouragement, because I've been there. I know what it's like to have these limitations and negative belief systems that hold you back. All right, until next time, have great days ahead of you.